I don't want you to do it like this. This is what I want you to do. Oh, sorry, I saved that. So what I want you to do instead of doing that is let's delete that file. Let's do this again. You are gonna. This is a nice enough day, isn't it? Now I'm gonna make. Maybe I'm making loads and loads of edits. Okay, just make the edits in a new file so that you don't lose the old file. Save and quit, and then in Word, you go to Tools, Track Changes. Oh, this is slightly buggy. This you've got to open a document. You go to Tools, Track Changes, Compare Documents, and then you select the original document, which was this one, and the new document, which was the edits you just made. This one. Look, I can see the file name is wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter about that for now. You can actually label it what you want. So supervisor edits, let's say, and click OK. And this is going to create a track changes document, which you will not in any way edit. You will simply save it as tracked changes like that. Okay, now close that. Close that. Now, so look, this is the file, and these should have both been called R1. Oops. Please. R1. R1. Okay. So this is the file I actually created, and then at the end of it, by comparing the documents, I create a track changes document that the student can look at. Now, what you could do then is you could copy, if you want, you can copy the track changes document to your new one, your new document, which is going to be R2, and then your name, come in, and then you can go to review. You can go through every change and either accept or reject it. So we accept it. Okay, and then make sure track changes is turned off, save. Right, now we have your document, and what you can now do is close that, and now what you can do is you can actually take a copy of this file again, right? Copy and paste, and we're going to call. Sorry, no, you don't do that. Go back in. This is my file where I've tracked changes of the supervisor. Maybe I make some more changes of my own. This. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now I've not only have I accepted or rejected my supervisor's changes, I've also added some of my own. I go save, and that's my version R2SS. But I also want to create a track changes summary for the supervisor to see. So I go to Tools, Track Changes, Compare Documents. This time, what I'm going to do, for the original document, make sure you save the document before you do this, which I just did. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick the Track Changes one. This has got the changes of the supervisor tracked in it. Okay. And I'm going to take the current file I just created. It's a little bit confusing now, so we've got to be a bit careful here. Right, I'm going to say, label it with my own name. Okay, ready? Actually, no, this is now the student's edits, isn't it? So Susan Smith. Click OK, and it's going to say, one or both of the documents contain track changes. Now, so what you do is you say yes, which means we accept all of the supervisor's track changes, but then we compare that to the changes I've made. So if I rejected one of his changes, he will see that. Let's try that. Okay, so I accepted his change and I added text, that's all. Okay, and then I would go File, save that one as, tracked changes. Okay. Right, I want to give you one more. I want to go through this one more time just to show you, because this is a bit fiddly. So now I'm the supervisor again. I come back to my student's document and I look at the track changes version. But I'm going to copy it. I'm going to take a copy of it and I'm going to call it. It's now going to be the third revision of the paper and it's by me. I'm going to open it up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to look at all of the changes that the student made, either accept or reject. The student said, this is what I thought to myself. No, that's not right. This is what the student thought. Put it in the third place. Okay. So there's no changes in this document now. Good. So save it. And now what I'll do is again, let's see what happens when I do track changes, compare the documents. This is a bit tiresome, but you have to do it. So I want to check the track changes version the student made against my new version, which was R3. Open, and yeah, I'm the supervisor, so I can leave my name there. Yes. Now what I should see here is, look, you see, you can see I've rejected the student's I, and I've put in the student, and I've also rejected the students to myself. So, in other words, I have it's all worked. It's changed. This is tracked exactly what changed when I rejected some of the students' edits and added my own. And then I would finally save that as R3A tracked changes. Now that is not as complicated as it probably sounds. On the other hand, it's not as simple. It's not completely simple. So you've got to be a little bit careful. But when we're working on documents together, this is what we would expect to see. Very small files, lots of them with systematically named, so they've got systematic names so that we can see exactly what's going on, and we can always look back if we need to. So the reason that we just went through all that complicated stuff is to minimise the chance of crashing. Okay, it's not that if you track changes, you get the same result, but very much higher risk of crashing, which we don't want to do. So I know it's a little bit of a fiddle, but it's much better if you work in that way. Now we come to the final point, which is about references and how to insert references in Word. Now, you might want to play around with this and find a better way than I have. All I know is that I've, again, had many problems with automatic referencing software. And so my preferred solution is to actually do this in a semi-manual way, which I will now demonstrate. Let me start by just taking a duplicate file and making a new revision. So we're on R4 now. This is revision 3 with all of the changes accepted, isn't it? So I'm going to come in here and I want to start putting references into my paper, which of course we do. So I'll create a references section, and down here I want my list of references. The way I'll do this is I'm using Zotero as my reference manager, so let me open Zotero. And Zotero is great because it's got all of you can have folders for different papers, and you can have, so I'm going to use this one here called forests. Within each of these you can actually embed the actual document, so you can read the paper, and it's just, you don't have to have it duplicated in your paper on your computer, you just have it in Zotero. It's really nice. So when I've got my list of all my papers that I want to reference in here, I can right click on the folder and I can say export collection, and I don't want to do that, sorry. I can right click on it and I can say create bibliography from collection. And I'm going to use the Harvard style bibliography save as an RTF, rich text format. And that's going to give me a dialog box. And I will say, I'll call it water and trees bib. And I'm also going to call that R0, revision 0 bibliography. I'm putting it in the same folder as the paper. Save. You can now close Zotero, and if I come to my folder, you should see, here it is. There we are, I can open it in Word. So this is the bibliography file I just created. Let's open it in Word. And there it is. This is the bibliography for the papers I just had in that library. What I'll then do is I'll copy it and I will paste it into my references section. However, I won't just paste it like that, because this is exactly the kind of thing that annoys me, right? The fonts are inconsistent between my text and my bibliography. It's just very messy. So don't do that. Undo. Whenever you paste text into Word, what you want to do, is paste keep text only. And what it does then is it adopts whatever font you have as your default in Word. So it's now consistent with the rest of the document. I will just, for a reference list, I will just indent it like that so that I can clearly see the different references I've got. And actually that's it. And that's the only automatic step. The next, everything else I would do manually. So if I was inserting a reference, for example, I would say something like this: Aurora and Laura, 2003 said this, and then maybe let's take a long one. Okay, Davison et al. What year was that? 2016. Said that which contradicts older work. Whoops. E.g., I'm just making all this up, by the way. Benninghoff. Okay, so just make sure you know how to format these things in terms of an inline reference and a reference in brackets. Okay, that's it. So I would do all that typing manually, and I know that might seem like a pain, but it's I think it's the best way to do it myself. When I've finished, I would then go over my document and my reference list, and I'd remove any references that I didn't actually include in the final paper. You know, so for example, if Hang et al. Is not cited anywhere in the paper, then it shouldn't be in the reference list, and I just delete it. Now that's a bit of a manual way of doing things, but that's how I do it. And again, less likely to have any kind of problem. So that's it. Those are my rules, and I will give you this little checklist here, and I think you should try to adopt these practices into your work as quickly as you can, so that things go smoothly and we don't waste huge amounts of time. Because believe me, you can waste a huge amount of time formatting documents and messing around in this way. So just work like this and everything will be great.